And we are live. Hello everyone and welcome to the Melanin Initiative. In healthcare, there is often too much information and not enough time. Here at the Melanin Initiative, we avoid TMI by breaking things down into language that you can understand. We create a safe space for you to ask your questions, as well as share our nursing perspective without taking too much of your time. Today, we will be reflecting on our podcast journey so far, talk about what's to come, and present our inaugural TMI Awards. If you're new here, once again, welcome to the Melanin Initiative. I'm Geraldine and one of your co-hosts at the Melanin Initiative, along with Alisha and Kimberly. We are a health literacy podcast offering our nursing perspective. When we say health literacy, we're talking about the ability to obtain information, to understand that information, and to use that information to manage our health, manage your health and advocate for others. By watching on YouTube or listening on your favorite podcast app, we hope you feel empowered to ask questions, educated on how to manage your health, and confident to navigate the healthcare system. If you haven't already, please subscribe so you can be notified when we release a new episode. Thumbs up the video and leave a comment or two. It helps us help you. It also shows YouTube this content is valuable and helps to make sure YouTube shows our content to those who need to hear it. As a reminder, this show is for educational purposes only. The opinions expressed are our opinions alone, and they are not a representation of any of our affiliations. If you're experiencing a medical emergency, you should seek medical attention and medical guidance from your healthcare provider. If you're having a physical emergency, call 911, and if you're having a mental health emergency, you can call 988 or text 741-741.
Awesome. Oh, it's exciting time, ladies.
If you haven't already, go back and watch our first episode, which was at this table.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have the lights. We didn't have a camera. We didn't have any of
The
this.
decor.
Right.
Oh,
Just
man.
us
We had our little
and
janky
microphones.
setup. Oh, yeah,
We have the mics.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I think let's just start off with saying thank you.
Oh, yes.
Thank you for trusting us and tuning in, and we're learning from you as much as you are learning from us. So it's just a big thank you for supporting the Melanin Initiative and watching our videos or listening to us on your favorite podcast app. It has certainly been a journey over the last 3 seasons, and I couldn't be more proud of us and more thankful for the 2 ladies beside me. So just wanted to start off with the thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you all. People always ask, what was the inspiration behind this show? And I've shared that I was taking care of this gentleman, a black male in his 60s, who had just got a catheter placed for dialysis. And he said that going on dialysis was one of his 2 greatest fears in life. And so shout out to the night shift, because I was a night nurse, and over the course of that shift, I found out that he first started cutting his pills in half, and then he stopped altogether because he ran out of insurance. And when I asked him what was high blood pressure, he couldn't answer that question. And furthermore, he couldn't answer what was happening to his body when he had high blood pressure. And he said, that's a good question. And it just dawned on me, where do we learn that information? Much like financial literacy, we realize we don't learn it at home. We don't learn it in school. We tell you not to trust the internet. And in the short visits that we typically have, 15, 20 minutes, even I don't have time to tell you as your provider. And so that was just the inspiration behind this show. It's just thought, what if he had known that information? Would he have made different decisions? And maybe we wouldn't have met that night. And so I reach out to a lot of my friends and colleagues to see who would be willing to start this show with me. And I'm so grateful that Alisha and Geraldine rose their hand amidst the fact that they're not social media gurus, and they're quite busy in their own right. They still stepped up to the plate, and we've grown so much. We've had a chance to be part of the community, and now we're getting so much support, especially from our nursing family. We really can't thank you enough. We're so excited about what we have lined up in the future. We'll get into more of that. But I just want to thank them, for their commitment and dedication to the show and their support of the vision and helping to carry that out.
Wonderful. So people probably also often ask us about ourselves and, you know, our professional background. We shared that during season 1, but
and this season with the 73 questions.
That's right. But we will share some updates in our life, our professional life, because, you know, I think it's important, you know, to trust that we are kind of experts in our field, and what we're providing to you just isn't, you know, we're off the internet. It's lived experience, you know. Some of it is off the internet, but most of it is lived experience, and kind of what we are bringing to the table is what we learned in our professional environment. All of us have been practicing at least over almost 10 years. So if not more than 10 years. So we're definitely bringing a wealth of knowledge, and it's important to understand the people who are giving you the information.
Right.
So Kimberly, what's new?
Okay, so I wrote it down. So I want to just focus. I want to stay focused. So I do a lot of things, but at the beginning of the show, I was still a traveler, and at the time I was in Colorado. So since that time, I finished my traveling at the bedside. I started my first NP job here in the district, and resumed day shift 5 days a week on the East Coast. So it has been quite a challenge, which I document in my other social media platforms. One thing I'm super proud of is when I graduated my DNP degree, I asked myself, what would I do if I could do anything for free? And the answer was write. So I started a blog called the Mahogany Dermatology Blog, and then I started looking for opportunities for education in dermatology, because we don't get it in nursing or nurse practitioner school. I did a lot of research, but long story short, I came across Diversity in Dermatology, and I was just looking at their resources and their blog to see who they're talking to, what kind of information they have to share, and I saw it hadn't been updated since the pandemic. And so I reached out to them to see if they needed a writer for their blog, and they did. And so then I became the blog chair. That turned into the social media chair, and now I continue to help with social media, marketing, the Achieve program, and just carrying out the vision of the founders of Diversity in Dermatology, and it's been such a blessing to me. From there, I started the D&B Dermatology NPPA group, which is a networking group for NPs and PAs right here in DC, Maryland, Virginia, practicing or aspiring to practice in medical, surgical, and cosmetic dermatology. Through my partnership with DID, we've been able to get sponsored meet and greets. We just had our first one last month. We're planning our next one on Thursday, September 26th at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here in the district. You can, we have a private Facebook page for communication and setting up these events. You can always message me directly if you want to be a part of that. And just today I announced that we're expanding into Blacksburg, Virginia. One of our members is out there, and he has offered to partner with me to help grow the group in that direction. And so, we're going to be planning out the first meet and greet for that group out there. It just so happens that I just became a mentor for a DNP student over at Johns Hopkins, and he wants his DNP project to be tailored towards dermatology. And so he's out there in Roanoke, and so this is really great timing that now I can connect him with the group and our other members. As I mentioned, I love writing, and so I have the Virtual Preceptor Shop, which is a collection of digital resources. I just released the Nurse Practitioner Dermatology Starter Kit. Super excited about that. There's just a few resources to get you started with learning, starting reading, learning the latest evidence, organizations to join, conferences to attend, and just to get a feel for the practice as well as the business of dermatology. That's available in the Virtual Preceptor Shop, along with How to Become a Nurse ebook and the Your Nurse Mentorship Match. So we have been meeting a lot of students that message either us as the show or me directly, and I highly recommend that you purchase that book. It will just help make our time when we do begin mentoring you more efficient. We'll have an upfront idea of where you've been, where you are, where you're trying to go, and how to best support you in that way. And then I am also an advisory board member for a board called Hair for You. So the American Nurses Association, huge organization for nursing, they had grants to give out, only 10 grants, and this is one of 10 grants. Hair for You is an advisory board here at Children's National Hospital, and the idea behind the board is to help establish scopes and standards when it comes to hair and scalp assessment and treatment, particularly in children. really honored to be on that, and a lot of that came from my presence on social media, believe it or not. I'm a peer reviewer for the Journal of Clinical and Aesthetic Dermatology, and I'm writing my first article for the Journal of the Dermatology Nurses Association. Yeah, I think that's enough. And the show. We run the show.
This lady right here is the epitome of black girl magic. Okay, she does it all. Right. Me and Geraldine aren't as busy. But Geraldine, why don't you give us some professional updates?
Right. So I think since season 1, you guys I mentioned in our first episode that I am a family nurse practitioner. So I work in the ambulatory clinic setting, so more so like primary care, sick visits, things like that. But then I'm not sure if since that first episode I mentioned that I'm also now in the aesthetic space. So I now also work for a company that does Botox injections for cosmetic purposes. So I'm dabbling in that now, and so that's been a year now actually, as of like last week. I've been in that position, and that is also currently my full-time position. So I still do the family nurse practitioner job per diem or part-time, but the aesthetic, like the Botox job, is my main job, primary job, and I recently got promoted, so now I am in a managerial role. So I still see and treat clients, but I'm also in a more of a leadership role with that position as of last month.
Oh, and you won an award.
Oh yeah. So in my current position, I actually was one of the top performing providers. There was like a competition going on, and because of the prize was a trip to the Bahamas.
Which is right up her alley. If you watch her 73 questions, her answer to anything, if it was appropriate, was travel.
Yes. It's like literally my favorite thing to do. So yeah, I won a free trip to the Bahamas, along with some of the other nurse practitioners. But yeah, that's pretty much what's new with me.
She has all 5-star reviews on Google. People mention her name, spell it out in the comments. Yeah.
Love that. So for me, I am in the same place professionally wise. I still am the nursing director or manager of 2 nursing units at the hospital that I work at. And over the last, I'd say, year or so, I've kind of dived into a passion project of mine, which has really been virtual nursing. Mm-hmm. So I managed 2 units, but I also had a side project of this space called a discharge center, and that expanded me into researching virtual nursing, which the virtual realm of medicine is here, and it's here to stay. So it's really exciting to just look at all of the things that we can do from the nursing perspective in the virtual space and help bring that to my hospital system. So I have been one of the integral members in initiating this program at my hospital and bring it to the forefront. And we actually submitted, my group and I submitted an abstract to, which is, you type up something and then you send it in for approval at a conference, and we got accepted. So I will be presenting my work at a conference in Canada in the fall. So nice. Very excited about that. Kind of being able to share the work that I've been doing in that space. And then I was actually awarded Nurse Leader of the Year twice. Yep. So in 2023 and then this year. So it's also just nice to be recognized for the work that I am doing in my space. So that's it for me.
Yeah, and as far as the virtual nursing goes, Alisha is kind enough to come back and be the guest of an upcoming episode where we learn more about virtual nursing, her experience, her passion, and the conference itself, which is being put on by a really important and big nursing organization. So stay tuned for that.
Awesome. Okay, ladies, let's talk about the podcast. Very exciting.
Did we ever talk about how we got to the name?
I don't know. I think we did in season 1.
I think we did.
Yeah.
Okay, so go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Episode 1.
Right. But people often ask us, like, how are you guys doing? Like, how's the show being picked up? Is it being utilized? Are folks watching it? So we want to let you know about some of our top episodes and give you some statistics about our show. So our top 3 shows, and this is data based off of our YouTube platform, But our most popular episode, with a whopping 917 views, is on sexually transmitted infections. Our second show with most popular with 632 views is Sickle Cell Disease, the patient perspective. And our third highest show with 439 views is our Pap Smear, Cervical Cancer, and HPV show. So I'm actually not very surprised by these results, but what do you got? What are your thoughts on our most viewed shows? Why do you think that is?
I think especially for the most popular one, which was the sexually transmitted infection, in this day and age, and especially in this area, there's been like a rise in STI specifically, chlamydia, gonorrhea, actually, and syphilis. So I think that's why it's kind of picking up a lot of traction, because obviously a lot of people are sexually active, so they want to know how to, hopefully want to know how to protect themselves or better protect themselves and their partners. So.
And I think these topics, particularly the sexually transmitted infection one, they're hard to have.
Yeah.
And they can be embarrassing.
Yeah.
And so we tend to go to the internet where it's safe and no one's going to know I have it. And shout out to Geraldine. She came up with this idea based on what she was seeing in clinic. And so it proved to be
fruitful.
A great decision. Sickle cell disease, I really wouldn't have a way to answer that question except now, because of Demetrius Kirk, the star of our series, Becoming Doctor of Nursing Practice. He said his mom died from sickle cell disease, and he said that because he saw that episode, he agreed to do this series with us. Wow. He said because nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
And since he said that, then someone else pointed out there's actually a book out too. So sickle cell disease primarily impacts communities of Black people, right? Whereas some of these other anemias, like hemophilia, for instance, impacts other ethnicities.
Right, correct.
So there's been more research. There's a plethora of treatment options, as opposed to the one we have for sickle cell.
Right.
And so that just brought to light the disparity that's over there. There's a lot of curiosity as to why there hasn't been. But from last week when we volunteered at the Black Health Connect Community Fair, I met a young lady there who she had sickle cell, got a bone marrow transplant. Now she no longer has sickle cell. She started an organization. She's going to come on the show and tell more about it. And she said when she goes forth and talks to the industry, they told her the reason they don't have as many treatment options is because the community is not organized.
Wow.
If it's just you and your 5 people and they have 20 industry,
right,
they're going to get drugs. They're going to get funding for research.
Yeah.
Wow. But that also just proves the importance of why we're here, right? I mean, 632 views. I can't say 632 people, but that video was watched 632 times. So that's 632 either conversations or spaces or moments where people were touched with learning or wanting to know more about sickle cell disease. So
and the same thing can be said about the Pap Smear cervical cancer. Yeah. So that was actually one of our first questions that we received from the audience that we turned into an episode. And that's, again, one of those things where I think in this case, it is a little bit easier of a conversation to have, but I think there's some topics where we're assumed to supposed to be experts.
Right, right.
Like I'm supposed to know what it is, how often, what you're doing down there. And so I think that's where some of the curiosity goes, and especially throughout the lifespan. Should I keep going? I had a hysterectomy. Should I keep going? I'm not having children. Should I keep going? I'm not sexually active. Should I keep going? I'm 70.
Right.
And so it's like all those kind of questions too, right? And it's, and then like depending on how the setting is when you're in the room, some people just want to get out of there. So they might have a lot of questions, but they don't want to have them naked. They don't want to have them with their feet in the stirrups. They don't want to have, they may have a male provider that they might not feel comfortable with. There's a host of reasons why that might be the case, but we'd love to hear why you think these are the most popular.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Yeah. So about our YouTube platform, we have 199 subscribers.
That just changed since we've been filming.
Yes.
You said that the morning
it was 97.
And then we got a notification that someone else tuned in. I'm hoping by the end of
before we leave today,
it will go up one more. But that's pretty cool. I think our first goal was 100.
So we are doing it. Yep. We have had 672 podcast downloads. Wow. and collectively almost 20,000 views on YouTube.
That is awesome.
Yay.
And now we're on LinkedIn, and so that should continue to rise.
Right. I mean, just very exciting. Our most popular platform remains YouTube, and Apple is our most popular app, and most people listen to the app on their iPhones. So not surprising,
Right.
you know, it kind of correlates there.
Right.
But just wow, we've done some amazing work, ladies.
And we're just getting started. We're still going to proclaim that we're babies.
Yes.
And we're still figuring it out.
We are.
But I've definitely enjoyed seeing the growth of the show. So
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
But they say you have to know where you started to know where you're going. So Geraldine, let's take us back.
All right, so let's talk about our mission and vision. So when we first created, or when we were doing our brainstorming regarding the podcast and coming up with a name, we also made it a point to come up with a mission and vision. So our mission is to make the healthcare industry accessible to the Black and Brown communities by discussing trends with clinicians from around the world. So you'll notice throughout our show, although we've had episodes with us, and we've also had guest speakers on the show just to get a wide variety of perspectives, because we're not experts in everything. So it's great just hearing from different providers and different people in general. Another goal of our mission is to simplify medical language regarding diseases, diagnosis, treatments, and the patient experience, and also to provide a safe space to ask questions and have concerns addressed through unbiased dialogue. So we definitely enjoy the questions that we receive. We enjoy responding to them, so please keep those questions and comments coming. Our vision is to be the premier nursing voice for the promotion and enrichment of health literacy for communities of color. So far we've already kind of talked about how it's been going, the feedback that we've been getting, whether that be from just the audience as well as our colleagues, like our nursing colleagues that we've worked with. Everyone, we've been receiving very positive feedback. So some of the changes that we've made has been the setup, I guess you could say. It has changed. We went from kind of being more, was it like remote, because we were all in different places and different spaces, but recently we've been in the same area, same city, so we've been able to come together to record our episodes. What other changes have we made?
Upgraded on equipment, so we have a real camera.
Oh yes.
We have official lighting. We have these fancy mics. Hopefully you can hear us.
Remains YouTube, and Apple is our most popular app, and most people listen to the app on their iPhones. So not surprising, you know, it kind of correlates there. But just wow, we've done some amazing work, ladies.
And we're just getting started. We're still going to proclaim that we're babies.
Yes.
And we're still figuring it out.
We are.
But I've definitely enjoyed seeing the growth of the show. So
yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
But they say you have to know where you started to know where you're going. So Geraldine, let's take us back.
All right, so let's talk about our mission and vision. So when we first created, or when we were doing our brainstorming regarding the podcast and coming up with a name, we also made it a point to come up with a mission and vision. So our mission is to make the healthcare industry accessible to the Black and Brown communities by discussing trends with clinicians from around the world. So you'll notice throughout our show, although we've had episodes with us, and we've also had guest speakers on the show just to get a wide variety of perspectives, because we're not experts in everything. So it's great just hearing from different providers and different people in general. Another goal of our mission is to simplify medical language regarding diseases, diagnosis, treatments, and the patient experience, and also to provide a safe space to ask questions and have concerns addressed through unbiased dialogue. So we definitely enjoy the questions that we receive. We enjoy responding to them, so please keep those questions and comments coming. Our vision is to be the premier nursing voice for the promotion and enrichment of health literacy for communities of color. So far we've already kind of talked about how it's been going, the feedback that we've been getting, whether that be from just the audience as well as our colleagues, like our nursing colleagues that we've worked with. Everyone, we've been receiving very positive feedback. So Some of the changes that we've made has been the setup, I guess you could say. It has changed. We went from kind of being more, was it like remote, because we were all in different places, in different spaces, but recently we've been in the same area, same city. So we've been able to come together to record our episodes. What other changes have we made?
Upgraded on equipment, so we have a real camera.
Oh, yes.
We have official lighting. We have these fancy mics. Hopefully you can hear us. We did rent the studio at one time. I think the biggest thing, like you just heard, all of us are quite busy, and running a show is quite time consuming. And so we've been fortunate to add on, I'm going to give her a title, our producer, Angie. She has been running the show since May, end of May. And thanks to Demetrius Kirk, again, the star of, he's like our cousin now.
Right?
He's a cousin to the show. He introduced us, and she helps him produce his shows as well. And so she's been taking over, and that's been a huge blessing. And because of her, pretty much every other day we have another 1,000 views because of the work that she's putting in, and she's been able to help us establish new partnerships as well.
Perfect. So thank you, Angie. Also, some changes is that we're now on LinkedIn, so that's a new change. Also, we've moved from Tuesdays to Sundays at noon.
Eastern.
And noon Eastern. And then
not to forget our night shifters, the podcast itself gets released at 5 a.m. on the app, so they can listen while they're finishing up their charting, so they can be, instead of being the last, like with everything else, they're going to be the first to listen to the show on their way home, and then our day shift can listen before they get their shift started. And maybe one day someone will email us and say, we listened to the show right before huddle. Would love, I want to hear that.
Another change that we're looking to implement is no more hiatus. So we're going to be rolling out episodes like continuously, about 12 episodes per season. We're also looking at partnering more, which we've been doing a lot. Actually, we've been doing a lot this season. We're partnering with the National Black Nurses Association, with our Maternal and Men's Health Committee.
Newecki. We partnered with Eunice Kofi-Obeng, who's a cosmetic chemist, alumni of FAMU. She's down there in Hampton Roads, and we helped promote her inaugural Newecki Durbar, a wellness and beauty event that helped to help share with the public what she's doing with her innovative skincare line for people of color. And in that event, she talked not only about skincare, but also dynastic wealth, entrepreneurship, health, wellness. There were a lot of estheticians and cosmetologists and trichologists there, and it was really fascinating for me as someone who loves dermatology to see where we can bridge those gaps in knowledge and where we can really work together.
We've also had partnerships with Dr.
Ruby Long. Yeah, she's an emergency physician. I just wrapped up filming with her. She's the author of a book called Love Letters to Patients, which was based on her experience during COVID. And so in the book, she covers the top 10 causes of death and disability. And in the episode, we focus on 2 of those, which was overdosing and gun violence. And so definitely look out for, by this time you've already seen her episode, and her book is available for purchase.
And we've also had an episode with Robin, which is a doula.
No, Robin hasn't come on.
Oh, sorry.
She was inspired by an episode with Alexandria Von Poe, who talked about doulas. And Robin saw that. We went to nursing school together. She's a veteran from the Navy, and she had left nursing, actually, which we don't really talk about, but she left nursing and she went into finance, and she did that for a while, and then she left that to go into entrepreneurship, but it was still the finance space. And then some things happened, and she had like this little window of opportunity, just like, which direction am I going to go, right? And she saw that show, and it inspired her to start her own business. Oh, wow. So she went, like, literally within less than a month, she went and did the doula training, established her LLC, and started getting clients. Talk about, that's fast, right? Yeah. But it brings all, because she actually had originally applied to midwifery school. Like, she was really going Frontier. We all know about Frontier, right? And so, she was in there, and then she got discouraged. Kind of a labor and delivery, women's health can be a little a little challenging, and so she had gotten discouraged. And so this opportunity to use all her nursing knowledge and be in the community and providing care under her own business, really awesome, really cool. Yeah. And then, a huge supporter of this show has been Deb. Shout out to Deb. Not only does she support this show, but she helped establish our partnership with DC Black Pride. Mm-hmm. And now that, by the time you see this, it's August. So Kenya Hutton is now the president, CEO of that. He's been on twice to talk about DC Black Health, both the history and then the event itself, which occurs every May. Next year in 2025, not only will it be DC Black Pride, it'll be World Pride. Like millions of people are expected to come here. It's an awesome opportunity if you're in healthcare, if you're in entrepreneurship, if you're in the community, just want to learn or support. Then we have Kelsey Wilson, our very first partnership, right? She's our favorite trauma therapist. She's been on for Juneteenth. We talked about intergenerational trauma. She came back in November and talked about how to navigate the holidays with your, maybe navigate every day with
your family, right?
Then we did a really heavy episode, anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation. We just aired her latest episodes on cognitive processing therapy. I know it's CPT. It's cognitive processing. Kelsey's going to get us. It's CPT. Why don't you teach me the abbreviation, the acronym, that's it. Right. But cognitive processing, I want to say therapy, and EMDR. Mm-hmm. Can you remember that one?
No.
That one is, it's like eye movement desensitization. Yeah. Anyway, these are really two intense therapy options. They're typically a prolonged session, and you might only do this as opposed to talk therapy, which are like shorter sessions more frequently. We have all her contact information in the description box, and she's right here in Reston, so you can go see her either telehealth or in person at the Google building. We've partnered with, of course, nurses and nurse practitioners, but we've also had doctors now who we're really grateful for, medical student, pharmacist, shout out to Dr. Smith, physical therapist, shout out to Dr. Don Mucci, chiropractor, CNA, LPN. We're looking forward to partnering with a public health dentist, a women's health MP. We have some really exciting things in store there. Infertility specialist, a Pilates instructor, a trichologist. We really need more peds folks. All you who practice in children, I've had a little bit of that's been tougher to find. So if you're watching this or you know someone, please send them our way.
Alrighty, so now is going to be my favorite part of this episode. I love honoring people in the work that they do. So we are going to be awarding two inaugural awards here at the Melanin Initiative. So first, we're going to start with our 2024 Emerging Excellence Award. So this award, we created this award to honor someone who is emerging in their field and really laying the foundation and the groundwork for excellence. Anything you want to add before I keep going?
About the award?
Yeah, about the award. About the award.
No.
And the recipient. We haven't.
Did you already announce?
We didn't announce the recipient.
We're building up the momentum.
But no, we haven't.
So describe the award winner.
Well, didn't y'all go to the same school?
No, that's me.
Actually, no, I did. We should have recounted. It's really nice that there's a personal relationship there, unbeknownst to all of us. But I think what's really beautiful about the recipient for this award is they're early in their career and they're being recognized for kind of trailblazing, really starting out pretty strong, entering entrepreneurship, bringing a much needed service to the community, and trauma. Like that's a really heavy one, right? And what we really loved about the recipient was their demeanor, talking to them, feeling comfortable and at ease, that they're really knowledgeable, really compassionate. And yeah, this is really just the beginning. We're super excited. We're just grateful that they would even allow us to partner, and that each season they come back with fresh ideas that not only inform the public, but we learn a whole lot. And yeah, some things I'm looking forward to trying out too.
Yes, absolutely. All right, ladies, drum roll, please.
Well, I know how that sounds.
All right, guys. Fake drum roll.
Yes. The 2024 Emerging Excellence Award goes to our very own Kelsey Wilson. Woo! So we've asked Kelsey to give us some acknowledging words to accept the speech. So here they are.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Wilson. I'm a licensed clinical social worker with a private practice for women with childhood trauma. I'm so excited to be an Emerging Excellence Award recipient this year, celebrating going into my second year in private practice. Being an emerging leader really just means continuing to serve the community in all the ways possible. And I'm so excited to be a therapist who is able to work with women on a daily basis and be able to go alongside them in their healing journey. So I look forward to many years to come, and thank you for this award.
Isn't she lovely? All right, so moving on, our second award is going to be the 2024 Social Impact Award. Now, this award is going to our guest with the highest number of engagements on our social media platform. We are thankful to all of our guests for coming on the show and giving their expertise to the field and helping to support the Melanin Initiative podcast. So I personally want to thank the award recipient because I did go to school with this individual as well. And I just remember being a part of her personal journey with the disease process that she has, and just how that affected her life and being a nursing student. So with that being said, drum roll please.
The silent drum roll.
Yes, the silent drum roll.
We don't want to hurt your ears.
Right. The 2024 Social Impact Award goes to our very own Alisha Johns. Yes.
We need one of those sound effect boards.
I know. So at this time, we're going to hear an acceptance speech from Alisha.
Hello, the Melanin Initiative podcast. This is Alisha Johns, and I just want to say thank you so much. It is such an honor to receive this 2024 Social Impact Award. Like, what? Like, I am so happy, one, that people are listening and watching your podcast, but also to hear that the episode on Sickle Cell Disease had the most views and the most listens on all social media platforms. That is truly amazing. Especially just being a registered nurse and working with kids that have sickle cell anemia, myself, and also just being a sickle cell warrior. So I am so happy that people loved that episode, and I hope they do watch the rest of your episodes. I'm excited for the new episodes that you have coming out, and also hearing and having people reach out to you guys and also myself just to know more about sickle cell, and having guests come on just after watching that episode. That's truly amazing. Definitely to everybody that's listening and watching, still learn more about sickle cell disease. It's more common than you think it is, and especially hearing the great news that there is an FDA approved cure for sickle cell disease. I know it's still under research and so forth, but just having that go through trials and everything after filming that episode and seeing more and more studies and cures come out is just amazing. But thank you so much for this award, and I look forward to listening and watching more of your episodes. Bye!
Thank you, Alisha, and please come back anytime, and we want to hear about this new therapy. We're so excited to hear about that. All right, so that concludes our awards portion, but there's always more to come. So Kimberly, why don't you tell us about what we can look forward to in season 4?
So in season 4, we're going to continue our series with Demetrius Kirk becoming Doctor of Nursing Practice. We're going to continue our series with Clarence Sands, who will now, so Demetrius has 1 more year left in his DNP project, which is dedicated to falls. He just posted that he finished chapter 3 of his paper. Clarence Sands is the star of becoming a physician. He just wrapped his first year of medical school. He spent the summer at Stanford in their dermatology department. He is the founder of their dermatology interest group. He'll enter season 2 or his 2nd year, and he'll start doing his rotations, and we'll have them back at the end of their semester. You've already had a chance to meet the star of our series, Becoming a Midwife, with Charity Bean, also the founder of the Doula Lab. She will continue with her journey. And then we have the Becoming an ICU Nurse with Sade, CNA turned LPN turned RN, now in the ICU. So that's exciting. You haven't seen her 73 questions yet, but you'll see that before we start her series, so you'll have a chance to get to know her. We'll continue the 73 questions. We have a few more to roll out, and you can always email us and let us know if you want to be a part of that. And that's just and shout out to NDMD. That's the name of the channel that this was inspired by. He is now an anesthesiologist resident, and because of the pandemic, he wasn't able to do all the rotations that he would have initially had gotten a chance to do in med school, and he still wanted to be able to know which path to take. So he came up with this idea on his YouTube channel. He used to fly all around the country doing these in-person interviews, really great production quality, and then he said that he was tired, and he knows he wouldn't be able to maintain that in residency, and so he gave free will to anyone who wanted to continue it. And so we're happy to do it in our way, and it's just a way to give a little bit more insight into the different healthcare options, the decisions that we make, how we get there, and just to inspire people who want to be part of the industry. We put out a call. Actually, you know what? I can do better than that. Give you guys a highlight of next season. Oh, that EMDR. It's eye movement. Did I say that? I think I did say that.
I think you did.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. We have the face transplant with Robert Chelsea. He's going to come on for our Labor Day special and talk about his experience, what caused him to need a face transplant, what that was like, and how he's been living life ever since that. It's a powerful testimony, and he really just has such a great attitude and perspective that he was kind enough to share with us. He's pretty famous, and so we're really grateful that he would share some of his time with you all. Let's see, we have... We're going to still continue to do a lot of mental health promotion. We're going to be introducing you to some providers who are local and have practices right here in DMV who you can schedule appointments with and meet them in person. We'll be learning from Andrews, who is a nurse. He started, Ellen Jekko, which is a foundation. So Andrews is from Ghana. He's a nurse right here. He actually just messaged me and told me he just got accepted to GW's DMP program, which is the one I graduated from. He's from Ghana, and through his foundation, they have been implementing just really some basic level healthcare that I think we take for granted here. Mm-hmm. So first they started off with teaching people CPR, then they moved into Stop the Bleed, and now they're focusing on patient safety, and they're getting a lot of requests to provide this throughout the continent. And he's super busy. He flies to Ghana regularly. And so you'll see him, you'll learn more about him, and I told him he definitely has to come back when he finishes his project so he can learn about his research. And when October comes back, we're going to be doing another episode dedicated to breast cancer. Last year we did a whole bunch of testimonials, people, myself, my mom, people who their mom died from it. But this year I want to focus more on actual parts of care. Mm-hmm. So we have Andrews Young, who actually just finished his NP program, literally a couple weeks ago. He's been a nurse for over 20 years and specializing primarily in hospice and palliative care. So he was really kind enough to go through really the details of the differences between hospice and palliative, the criteria for getting into either one of those, and how to start that conversation. He also happens to be the chair of the men's committee for the Greater New York chapter of the National Black Nurses Association. They're planning their first inaugural men's health committee in November. It is a free event, so stay tuned for that episode. He talks all about that. Yeah, we have some really exciting people. And then we haven't even put together our own, what we want to delve into. But yeah, those are just a little glimpse. We have started collecting blood pressure monitors. I've mentioned a few times that part of our community initiative is to go into schools and teach students and the faculty about the importance of primary care and how to accurately measure blood pressure and what to do with those numbers when they see them. And so why I say that, we were fortunate enough to partner with the Black Health Connect conference last week. It was a conference for Black healthcare professionals, and at the end of that they had a community health fair, a free event for the public, and you could volunteer whether you were a medical professional or not. And so they asked if anyone had equipment, and thankfully, due to our anonymous donor, we have 5 monitors so far. Our goal is 25, and so we donated our monitors. We ran that table. We took lots. I think we had the busiest table.
We did, yeah.
And so shout out to them. They put that thing together in 1 month. They do go around the country, so look out for that so you can support them. But yeah, they did screenings on blood pressure, height and weight, blood sugar. Mental health was there.
And just different community partners, like different
dentists. The dentists were there.
Yes, they were.
Not as extroverted as the rest of us, but they were there. But yeah, our table had the most, and people were so kind. Alisha was in, she jumped right in, started taking blood pressures. We had some as young as 12. She was 12.
She kept coming back. Can you take it again? I know we took it at least 3 times.
To very seasoned. We did see quite a few people whose blood pressure was well within limits, and we just talked to them about how to maintain that. And then some people were out of range, nothing low,
on the high end,
more on the higher end. And so everyone was just so receptive and gracious and honest about, if they do or don't take their medicines and why. And a lot of my focus went to nutrition, to be honest. So it was fun. It was fun partnering with them and being in the community, and wearing our shirts. We got our shirts. That's a thing. We've since changed our logo. And so speaking of that, we have a merch store. Angie's been working on that. I think she's waiting on me to sign off on a few things. So just stay tuned for the merch store. You can have your own merch, your own TMI merch. And the Patreon too. So that's a place where you can support us financially as well as donate more blood pressure monitors. And that's our initiative for the community.
Wonderful.
So to wrap up, as you can see, we've come a long way, and we still got ways to go. And we want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for your support, your continued support, and for just getting the word out there about us. I also want to say thank you to you, two ladies, just for your input in the show. And it has been a journey, but I am liking the ride so far.
Let me just shout out my parents real quick. I'd be remiss. They watch every episode. They always leave a comment. They wear their shirts. They have the long sleeve and the short sleeve. I love it. And they tell their doctors about me. They get their texts. They get their phone numbers. They want me to text them. I couldn't do anything. Actually, all the things I ramble about, I wouldn't be here without them. So I definitely want to support them. And I really appreciate my mom. She's always super supportive, right? But men and my dad being retired from the Marine Corps, certainly communication can be challenging sometimes when they talk about personal experiences. And honestly, I feel like my dad has learned so much from this show. Some of the things he's doing and changes he's made, really, it just makes this whole thing worth it. And he provides so much input, and I really appreciate that. So I just want to thank them for that.
Thanks, Papa Madison.
Thank you. So as always, you can email us your questions or show ideas at tmi.melanin@gmail.com. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on every social media platform. Say hello in the comments when you get there. Please share the show with your friends, rate the Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and leave a comment. It really helps the show get out there and get us more support and gets the message out there to those who need it. You can find all of our social media links and a list of resources related to our conversation today in the description box. We release a new show weekly on TMI Sundays at noon Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, LinkedIn, and all your favorite podcast apps. Follow, like, and share our content with all of your friends. Thank you once again for watching. Bye.
Thank you. See you next time.